What's up, everybody, and welcome back to All the Things Sorta Truth, the podcast where we get down to the truth of the Sorta Truth series by Terry Goodkind. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jade.
And I'm Aaron.
That's right. This week we actually have a special guest with us.
Yeah, we do.
And you do say truth a lot.
I do.
At the beginning. I've heard it, but now seeing you say it too just really added, there's a lot of truth there.
Yeah. That is a lot of truth, and
Yeah.
that's what we like here on this show.
Truth.
All the truth.
We seek it, in fact.
Well, this week, I have no news except to remind everyone that Wasteland is coming out very soon, October 10th.
We do have a little bit of something. I don't know if you call it news or not, but we've gotten our hands on 3 books. We have The Omen Machine, Severed Souls, and Warheart. And I had mentioned this before, but we want to do a giveaway.
Yeah, these are the 3 books that come after the official end of the Sword of Truth series.
So it's like an epilogue trilogy?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So how this giveaway is going to work, we would like you guys to get on iTunes, Google Play Music, or whatever podcast app you use to listen to this show and give us a review. It really does help us out, and it makes this show more searchable for other fans of the series or somebody who might be looking for a podcast like this one. Do that, take a screenshot, and then send that screenshot to podcastatt@gmail.com.
Or really any of our socials. As long as we can see it, that's what matters.
As long as we see it, you will be entered to win all 3 of those books.
Yeah, we're going to pick one winner because we felt like we can't separate the books. So yeah, be sure to do that. This is going to be going on for a month till October 31st, and then we're going to pick a winner.
Gnarly.
That works.
So is everybody ready to get into this chapter?
So ready.
Oh, yes.
It almost sounds like you guys need a synopsis.
You know, we probably should do that.
Yeah. So the synopsis for this chapter is Richard sleeps through the plot.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's all I have.
Okay, so they carry Richard into Zed's house because he, passes out and starts losing reality.
This is right where his bad trip comes into effect. From the very first episode, we were making jokes about him tripping balls, and this is where his trip goes bad.
Yeah, he's seeing shit he doesn't want to see anymore.
It always happens. It's going to happen eventually.
Yeah, right?
You can go as much as you want, but eventually you get either the bad part or the bad trip. So it was bound to happen.
He imagines his mother smoothing down his hair, and he is sad when he remembers that she's dead, and he says Kaylin's name, and then it all kind of comes back to him.
I thought it was interesting because he specifically mentions her hair, because that was brought up earlier about women cutting their hair and her asking about it, and he was just like, he said something along the lines of I was just fine touching her hair because it felt nice. It's like, I love this woman. She's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And it was like, but I'm okay with just touching her hair, which is kind of weird, but if I saw a beautiful woman, I'd be happy to touch her hair, I guess. So I guess I can see where he's coming from, if that's my only option.
That he was being allowed to touch her hair.
Well, yeah.
I'd be like,
Yeah,
okay, I'll take what I can get.
Yeah. Yeah. She didn't say no, so I'm touching her hair. Also, you guys had mentioned before about George maybe fueling why Michael doesn't like him because he keeps choosing Richard. And this was something that George chose Richard. And maybe this is something else that Michael picked up on. Maybe this adds more to, we just don't know if George is a good dude yet, or, if we've got some bias by Richard here, and who knows who's telling the truth right now.
Right, it does say that he picked Michael for his own reasons, and we have no idea what those are.
I have a good idea. Michael's dick. Pretty sure somebody like his dad would pick up on something like that.
I have something that might be important. Gonna choose the kid that's not a dick.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair. All right.
It says nobody else has any reason to know of their trips to the woods, but I feel like if your dad was taking your brother to the woods, repeatedly all the time, even if you're a selfish asshole, you would for sure notice your brother and your dad going out to the woods.
Yeah,
alone.
He might be with his friends, but I gotta imagine there's once or twice he came home early and is like, where's Dad and Richard? And all of a sudden they come back. And it's like, oh, what were they doing? I guess I'll just let that go.
We know this about Westlanders, though. They don't ask questions. We talked about that in the last episode with the boundary. Like, you just don't go over there. Oh, yeah, okay, sure.
Wait, boundary's coming down. Wow, yeah, okay, yeah, I guess that's something to pay attention to. Yeah, okay.
The guy said it was so I guess that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Because the other thing was they briefly talked about Richard learning the book. And he had to write it down 100 times without error. And I don't know if this is a See Dick Run book or not, but to write something down 100 times without error, I like, and they talk about, like, this goes in from when he was young to, like, late teens, I think.
Yeah.
And it kind of, like, I know this is Fantasyland, and there's not phones and cell phones, but he had to have spent a good portion of his childhood writing a book, word by word, until he had it right. And he talks about how he was honored that his dad picked him for this job. I would hate my dad if I had to write a book 100 times to know it perfectly. But I also had Nintendo 64 as an option. So maybe that's just why I can't fathom why I would want to spend my time doing that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Richard was like, play with sticks or go memorize a book with my dad torturously in the woods forever. Yeah, sounds great. And my dad apologizes, so
yeah,
that makes it cool.
Sorry, I'm a dick. Whatever, Dad.
My question was, wouldn't maybe like 20 times be enough? Or 50 times be enough? At what point was it like, no, we got to do this 100 times to make sure you have it down?
The only thing I can think of is, for me, it's movies. Like, I consider myself a book reader, but I don't often read a book more than a couple of times. And even then, it's got to be a series. But there's movies I've probably seen close to 20 times. And I think I can get close to almost doing word for word. And that's just casually watch. Like, if I sat down saying, I'm going to memorize this movie, I think I could probably do it in 20. So the fact that he had to do it 100 times, maybe Richard's not as smart as we thought. Maybe, I'm not sure what to read into that, but I know it would be hard for me to be in his shoes, for sure.
I think it's a little strange, too, because his dad is so anal about preserving the knowledge. And I get it that he took something from behind a beast that was protecting it for somebody else, but it seems like a lot of, like, assumed knowledge that he's taking.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, oh, I found a book behind a beast, and I gotta save this. I gotta save this for the person. Unless the beast was talking to him, and was, like, the whole thing is a little weird, and I get that we haven't gotten all the information about it yet, but
maybe Richard's dad got bit by a snake-like vine and was on a bad trip and was like, I need to save this book.
Yeah.
Now.
Well, yeah, because especially if you didn't open the fucking book and see what was inside, why would you be like, no, you gotta read this, Richard, 100 fucking times and get it right?
Well, and wouldn't Richard have asked what the purpose of memorizing the book would be? Well, we have to memorize the book. Well, yeah, okay, Dad, but we have the book. We have the book. We don't need to memorize it and burn it and hide it away. We have the book.
And we've established this is early teens, Richard, at the earliest, or maybe even at the latest.
Yeah.
Right.
You guys have kids that are roughly early teen. I have to imagine, because I kind of, like, I'm pretty sure at some point I asked why I needed to brush my teeth.
Yeah.
So I have to imagine at one point he had to have been in a smart-ass teenage mood and been like, why? Why do I need to do this? But
exactly.
Yeah.
What's the purpose of this?
Yeah. Can you give me a goal?
I mean, literally earlier today, Jackson was bouncing tennis balls across the living room, and Nate told him to stop. And Jackson was like, why though? I was just doing this. I was like, okay, listen, if your dad tells you to stop something, the worst thing to do is say, why? I was just anything. You just shut up and say, okay, Dad.
It was 6 tennis balls. 6 of them.
Not one tennis ball 6 times.
Right.
6 tennis balls.
We literally had 6 tennis balls from the dog park earlier, and he took all of them out and was just... And I had enough, so I was like, dude, can you just please, can you not?
Those were good.
Why? I was just doing this. Yeah, I do all of the sword sound effects with just my mouth. It sounds amazing, but it's totally not true.
That sword sound effect, I don't know how you do it, but that's amazing.
Do it right now.
See? There you go. We'll just put that in post and call it good. I know. It's amazing. I know.
You want
It's
to
a
see me
skill.
do it? You want to see me do it again?
Right.
See, and then after he writes the book 100 fucking times, they then leave it for 3 years and come back, and he has to write it again. And is Richard checking his own work here? Because again, he's a teenager.
He can't. They said that every time he would write it, his dad would burn it.
But who's
So I don't know how he. Well, I guess he could look at the book, so he could be like, "Yeah, I did. I got it perfect."
It did say that his dad never looked at it, so
Yeah.
his dad couldn't check the work.
Yeah. So he's checking his own work. A teenager is double checking to make sure a book is written perfectly. I would not be confident in this plan at all.
Well, and like you said, he's got to have that one day where he's like, Dad, why the hell are we doing this? Wouldn't he be like, yeah, you know what? It's fine. Dad, it's fine. I'm not even going to check it.
Yeah, I didn't write and, I just put the and symbol. It's good fucking enough, Dad.
100%, my kids would be like, yeah, it's good. And I'd be like, there's no way you read that whole book and double checked it. And he'd be like, yeah, no, I did.
Now can I go play Fortnite?
Yeah, 100%. Takes 2 minutes to brush your teeth. Why were you only in there for 30 seconds? I wasn't. I was in there for 2 minutes. I was watching the clock, you dick.
We have kids.
Yeah.
I have a dog. It's like, go brush your teeth. You come out 30 seconds later. I know you didn't brush it the whole time. So, I mean, yeah. I understand what you're going through. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah. See, they burn it, apparently, because his dad knows that people are after it because there was a beast.
Oh, yeah, because he saved it. He took it from someone else because it was not theirs, and he had to rescue the book. So he saved it. And again, it'd be nice to know why he had, like, I can't just go into someone's house and be like, I gotta save this book.
Why he felt like he had the right
intel? Yeah, where did he get the intel from? Which, maybe we find that out later. But it sure would be nice to know now.
Yeah.
Well, it does complicate the situation because in an earlier episode, we had just determined that his dad was a good guy. He wasn't a thief, and this was just a fact known to at least Richard, who we hold his opinion to be the right one. But now we know, no, he did totally steal it. Or at least he assumed he needed to take it to keep the information safe. And that's all we know.
Right. No, he didn't steal it. He saved it.
He saved it.
Bad guys steal stuff. Good guys save stuff.
I saved every single dollar out of that bank, guys. I just ran in there with my shotgun and
government
saved all the money.
Going to take it, and
They
saved it.
They should thank me.
Yeah, I thank you. Thank you for the money you gave me. I've thanked you for that. Allegedly.
I mean...
Allegedly. I just like that because that's one of those things. You can just say allegedly after anything, and immediately it sounds bad. I was in the library, allegedly. I saved those orphans, allegedly. But so after the 3-year wait, he writes the book, it's perfect, and then they burn the book. And long story short, a bunch of shit happens when they burn it, and Richard makes a note to himself, like, that was magic.
For sure, that was magic.
There's lights, there's things coming out of the fire. Like, shit's magic, yo.
Yeah, which is a little bit funny, though, because when he meets Kaylin, he's like, magic's real?
Yeah.
But he for sure saw it when he was younger. He knows that, like, weird shit came out of the fire. Unless he's, like, as he got older, was like, no, I was tripping when I was with my dad.
Well, and it could be, I mean, he's saying it's magic, but this is possibly 15-year-old Richard, where 15-year-old knowing you know something, and then when you look back later, like, yeah, whatever, I probably imagined half of it looking back, and then all of a sudden he meets Kaylin, he sees some other stuff, and he's like, oh, yeah, this was magic.
Yeah.
Now it's confirmation. It was magic.
And also we're, like, listening to Fever Dream
Oh, yeah.
Richard's thoughts. So...